Now, let's talk about the rules in spelling Igbo words. Great job so far, guys. I hope we understand the vowels, the vowel groups, and then we'll still understand what is about to be said. Okay, so we are now going to be looking at the rules in spelling Igbo words. So the first rule we're going to look at is on your screen as usual. So that is the vowel harmony rule. So in Igbo we say ndakorita ụdaume. Ndakorita ụdaume. Okay, so that is vowel harmony in English. Okay, so what does the vowel harmony rule say? It says that the vowels that make up a word must all belong to the same group. The vowels that make up a word must all belong to the same group. So if a word is made up of 2, 3, 5, 6, 10 vowels, all of them must be from one group. Okay? But there are exceptions to this rule, just like there are exceptions to every rule. So we're going to look at the exceptions much later. But this is the first rule we are looking at, the vowel harmony rule. So let's see some of the examples on your screen. We have the word akwụkwọ, which in English is book. Akwụkwọ. Akwụkwọ. Now, if you watched the alphabet videos like I asked you to, you will see that we have 3 vowels here and we have 2 consonants, because kwe, the one that looks like K and W, is actually one alphabet, kwe. So we have kwe appearing twice, so those are the consonants, and then the rest are vowels. So looking at the 3 vowels in that word, akwụkwọ, you will find out that they all belong to otu a. Otu a. Remember, a is the leader with all the other vowels dotted under. So this first one agrees with the rule of vowel harmony. Okay, the second example is the word ego. And ego means money in English. Okay, so looking at the vowels in ego, you'll find out that they all belong to otu e. Remember we said that e is the leader of the group, otu e. And then with all the vowels without dots under. Vowels with no dots under all belong to otu e. So you can see e there and o there. So this particular word ego agrees with the rule of vowel harmony. Okay, let's see if you have learned something so far from this first rule, which is the vowel harmony rule. Alright, so there's a picture on your screen, which is a picture of a hat and a picture of a boy or a child. Alright, so hat in Igbo is opu. Opu. I would like you to tell me the group the vowels in the word opu belong to. So look carefully. Tell me the group the vowels in the word opu belong to. Also look at the other word nwata, which is child, nwata. Look at the word very well and also tell me the group the vowels in the word nwata belong to. Nwata. The group the vowels belong to. Okay, I believe you got the answer correctly. So for the first one, hat, opu, the vowels belong to otu e because they don't have dots under. O and u, they both belong to otu e. And for the second one, which is nwata, the vowels, you have 2 a's there, so they both belong to otu a. Yay! Great job, great job. All right, so we move now to the second rule, So the second rule says that, it's on your screen, consonants. By the way, in Igbo we call consonants mbochiume. Let's say that. Mbochiume. Mbochiume. Great job, mbochiume. So when you hear mbochiume, that is talking about consonants in English. Okay, so the rule says consonants do not stay side by side in Igbo words. Consonants do not stay side by side in Igbo words. So we have some words on the screen. The first word we have is drum. Drum is an English word. You can see two consonants, D and R. I'm not using D and R because I'm talking about an English word. So you have D and R staying side by side in the word drum. It is okay because it is English. But in Igbo, we don't have words like that. Okay, so if I am to say the word drum with my Igbo accent, my accent is going to introduce vowels to separate the consonants for me, to help me pronounce the word properly. So as an Igbo person, my Igbo accent, the original Igbo accent, is going to pronounce that word as doromo. Doromo. Good. Doromo. That's what I will say with my Igbo accent. Doromo. So now you can see that automatically my accent has separated the consonants. Separated the two consonants D and R with a vowel to help me pronounce it. Okay, so but in Igbo, drum is ewa. So you have the word on the screen, ewa. That's what we call drum in Igbo, ewa. Good, ewa. Beautiful. Okay, so the second one, we have the English word school. So here you see SCH, three consonants side by side. Again, that is okay because it is English. But in Igbo, if I am to say that word school with my Igbo accent, I am going to say sukulu. Sukulu. Again, my accent is going to introduce vowels to separate the consonants for me to be able to say that word. So with my Igbo accent, I will have sukulu for that word. All right. Again, school in Igbo is ola akwụkwọ. Ola akwụkwọ. Ola akwụkwọ. Beautiful. Okay, so the third example is the English word basket. So you can see you have SK staying side by side. Again, it's okay because it is English, but with my Igbo accent, I am going to pronounce that word as basiketi. Basiketi. That's how I'm going to pronounce with my Igbo accent, basiketi. Good. Again, my accent has introduced vowels to separate the two consonants. Okay, I hope you understand what we are doing. So again, the rule says consonants do not stay side by side. So I just gave you examples of that. So again, basket in Igbo is nkata. 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 Some people call it oda. 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 Great job. Great. Okay, so we go to the next rule, rule number 3. It's on your screen, and the rule says vowels, odaume, can actually stay side by side in Igbo words. Yes, consonants can't, but vowels can. So let's see examples. All right, we have our greeting, which we all know already, our special, common greeting, which is ndewo. Ndewo. So if you spell that correctly, you will find out that you have two vowels side by side in the word ndewo, and the two vowels are e. Great. And again, you have the word chefuo, which means forget. Chefuo, chefuo. So you also see that you have u and o side by side in that word. You also have bia, bia, bia. So you also have 3 vowels side by side, e, a. Great. Then you have kunye, which is get up. Kunye, get up. So you have e, side by side. E, side by side. Great job. So the rule again is that vowels can stay side by side in Igbo words. Remember, consonants can't. You can't have 2 consonants side by side in Igbo words. Okay, so before I go to rule number 4, I would like to say something about 2 letters. 2 letters that have special function in Igbo language. So those 2 letters are what we call pseudo vowels. Pseudo vowels. So we have 8 vowels in Asusu Igbo. The rest are consonants. Of the 36 alphabets, 8 are vowels, the rest are consonants. Now, inside the remaining alphabets, we still have 2 that we call the pseudo vowels. In Igbo, we say miri udaume. Miri udaume. Can you say that? Miri udaume. Again, miri udaume. Good. So what that means is pseudo vowels in English. So we have the 2 letters me, and ne. Me and ne. Okay? Me and ne. Those are our 2 miridaumes in Igbo language. Alright, so when you say they are miridaume, they're on your screen. What do we mean by that? We mean that they act as vowels in some words and act as consonants in others. They act as vowels sometimes and act as consonants other times. So you see they are special. Okay? So let's see when they act as vowels. When they act as vowels, we say that when they are followed immediately by themselves. So when you have me in a word, you have me in a word, or you have ne in a word. In that case, the first me or the first ne is the vowel. In words like miri means water in English. Miri. If you try to say that word, you will see that the first one has a sound like a vowel. Before you say miri. Miri. So it tells you that it is a vowel because vowels have sounds. Consonants rely on vowels to give them sounds, but vowels have sounds. So miri, the first one is the vowel. And remember we said if you have 2 of them in a word following each other side by side, the first one is the vowel. Always the first one, not the second. The first one is always the vowel. Okay, so the second word we have ne. If you try to say that word again, you will see that the first one has its own sound. Ne. Ne. Great. Ne. So the first one is our vowel. The first one is our vowel. All right, so when to know that they are vowels again in a word is when they are followed by other consonants. It mustn't be themselves. They can be followed by other consonants. Okay, so when they are followed immediately, no vowel in between, immediately by other consonants, then they are acting as vowels. So we have the word ndewo. I know some of you noticed it when I used ndewo initially, that she said two consonants can be side by side. Why do you have ni and di in ndewo side by side? That is because in this case, ne is actually a vowel and not a consonant. Okay? So when ni or me is followed by another consonant, once you see a consonant beside me and ni, just know that they are vowels in that particular word. So ndewo, di is a consonant following ni immediately. So ni is the vowel. In the word, another word is chinonso, which is somebody's name. Chinonso, chinonso. Okay? So in the middle of the word, you have nso. So you see n followed by s, a consonant. So ni is followed by s, which is a consonant, followed immediately. No vowel, no other vowel in between. Once it is side by side, ne in that case is also a vowel in that word. So chinonso, that ne followed by s is a vowel and not a consonant. I hope you understand. Eotaraya, do you understand? Eotaraya, my students will reply, agotaramya. So I want you to also learn that response. So when I ask my students, eotaraya, their response is always agotaramya. That is if they understand. Agotaramya. Okay, so now that we know our two pseudo vowels, let's go back to the fourth rule, which we skipped. I said I'll come back to the fourth rule after teaching the pseudo vowels. So now let's come back to the fourth rule. The fourth rule of spelling Igbo words says that, it's on your screen, Igbo words do not end with mbochume consonants. Igbo words do not end with mbochume. Igbo words must end with udaume vowels. Udaume vowels or pseudo vowels. Miri udaume. So because of the miri udaume here, I had to go to pseudo vowels to explain what they are. So now you know the 8 vowels and you know the 2 pseudo vowels. So that's how Igbo words, that's what Igbo words end with. They don't end with consonants. So in English, you can have words ending with consonants, like we used drum initially. Like we used school initially. So you have L in school, ending school. But in Igbo, our words do not end with consonants. They end with udaume vowels or miriudaume pseudo vowels. So let's see the examples. So the first one, the 3 are actually names. So you see people writing their names that way. You see someone Ada, they put H. Every letter in an Igbo word must have its own sound or a part it is playing there. We don't have silent letters in Igbo. So that is very wrong, because H in that Igbo word is not doing anything, doesn't have any function. So, and it cannot end the word because H is a consonant. Okay, so in Igbo we have that letter as he. He is a consonant, so it can't be in that word. So the word should have ended with a. You see the one with ending with a, that's the correct form of the word. So Ada, no H, no he. Then the second one, Eze, same thing, no H, no he. Third one, Ozo, no R, no Re. In Igbo, that letter is Re. So it can't end the word Ozo because it is a consonant. Okay, I hope we understand up to this point. Okay, so we have seen the rules in spelling Igbo words. Remember in the beginning I said, when I talked about vowel harmony, I said it is a rule, but then some words disobey the vowel harmony rule. And I said I will come back to the words that disobey the rule much later. So now it's time to look at those words.